What's up, everybody? Let's get chat set up real quick. Okay, there we go. That should be good for a minute. That should be good for a minute. Oh, we'll wait for some people to trickle in. Probably going to move us down to the fire pit, though, because it's pretty hot. I think it's hilarious that for some people right now, winter is practically not even over. But for us down here in the South, dude, it is downright warm already. And spring is fully sprung. We've got full foliage, full foliation on all the trees. I mean, shit's real. What are we gonna talk about today? What are we gonna talk about tomorrow? What are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna talk about? I know at some point I have to take you guys out with me to check the barbecue. We've got a pork butt smoking, and it's gonna smoke for a few more hours yet. It's been smoking since around 10 this morning, and it's 2, so it's like a 3-pound roast, so it'll be like probably like 2 more hours. I'll let it stay on there, maybe more. It just depends. It really does just depend. I wonder if people got off school for Good Friday. Because I can't remember if we did when I was a kid or not. No way we're just going to sit at 2 viewers. That can't be right. That can't be right. 7? Okay, now we're starting to come up. Finally. Maybe people are starting to get their notifications. Cool. It always takes a while to build up the audience, but it doesn't normally take this long. Oh, what's up, Casino Shark? What's up, Andrew? I haven't seen you in here in a while. What it do? Here in a minute, you're going to get to see what I'm working on today, which is I'm making dinner, which I've been making dinner about 3 days a week for the last couple weeks, which is cool. But I want to do a smoked item every week, and this week I'm doing pulled pork. So I've got a Boston butt sitting on the grill right now. I've got a gas grill, but I figured out that if you use tinfoil and wood chunks, you can actually turn your gas grill into effectively a controlled temperature smoker. Currently on lunch, boo, but I'm here. Hey, a lot like whenever I'm in a Paul's Eco stream, I'm always pretty much always at work and on lunch break or on one of my 10-minute breaks if that's if it's a work day. Can you be mod? No. Yeah, that's not how it works. You don't come in here as a total fucking stranger. I don't know you from Adam, bro. So you don't come in here as a total freaking stranger and ask to be a mod in somebody's community. Like, that's just not how it works. Nobody's going to give you that. Nobody is looking to have their community ruined by some power tripping dumbass that just came in out of nowhere. Do not apply cold and hot to the upper part of the face. The facial nerve will fail there. The face will be distorted and it will take a long time to heal. I think that's a myth, man. I feel like that's probably a myth. I feel like that's like a myth. No, I mean, how do I add people to be mod? Like on your own channel? You just click their name whenever you're doing a live stream. Like, all you have to do is click their name and click, if I click on this person whose name is in Cyrillic, and I unfortunately cannot read Cyrillic, but if I pull up their thing, it gives me these options under author, channel activity, add as moderator, put user in timeout, or hide user on this channel stuff. Same menu you'd use for banning somebody, basically. Say Eblan? Why? What does Eblan mean? If you're a streamer, you click the username and choose... Yeah, exactly. Click the username, click add mod, and then it'll let you click standard mod or managing mod. I'll tell you this much, don't ever add anybody to be a managing mod unless you're willing to pay that person for quality work. Like, unless you're willing to enter into some kind of contract with that person, I would not give somebody managing moderator status. You're just asking for trouble at that point. But yeah. Butt. I know. Boston butt, pork butt. It's a weird fucking name for a cut of meat, I grant you. It's a very weird name for a cut of meat. And managing mod is only for the elite of the elite. I'm not even there. Plus, I don't want to get paid with money. Yeah, dude. I like I said, I would not ever promote somebody to that status within my community unless I was in a position to pay them, because like, otherwise, in my opinion, you're just looking for trouble. Like I said, there are like 3 people in this community that I would legitimately trust to make managing moderator, and I don't think any of them would be all that interested in the position, honestly. I'm here to love and serve you. Serve me? I don't know about all that. You know, I'm not bougie enough to know how to use a servant. I've got a servant's heart, not a master's. Okay, I'm going to exit YouTube real quick and come back and see if that fixes something, because I feel like there's got to be something going wrong, because I don't know why else we would be sitting at such a low view count. Okay, let's try this again. Well, you know, Servia is removing people via Order 66. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Trusty handy dandy meat thermometer. Alrighty, what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and go down to the fire pit. Oh! But before we head that way, we have to make a stop. We have to stop at the barbecue, make sure our smoking is still going well. Oh God. Okay. Whee! Okay. Light's definitely got me washed out now. Look at that. I just hope the grill has enough gas to get through this whole recipe. To be honest with you. Here's hoping. Smash the like button. Yes, please. Please, it'll help. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, but that's a little more buildup than I would have wanted. I don't think that's quite how it's supposed to look. Okay, so here's what we got going on. Foil packs on top, right? And now we've got this part, but I think I'm going to need to mist this a little bit more. I'm going to mist it, and I'm going to see, because I don't think that looks exactly right. I don't think it looks exactly wrong either, but one second. Okay, now I can show you guys what it looks like. See what we got going on here. And see how much water that little misting added. Now we can baste, and maybe I can stir up some of this actually. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Kind of mix some of that in there. Fills up, fills up, fills up. Alrighty. Well, fuck. The damn thing broke. It's so cool to have a rail crossing near you. I live half a mile from mine, so of course it's just light rail. Well, be glad it's light rail, honestly. It's cool. It's cool the first 24 or so times you have to listen to it. After that, it becomes mostly tedious. Now that that's going good, I'm going to reduce that to maximum, or to minimum rather. Can't reduce something to maximum. But I'm going to reduce that to its lowest setting. Now the wood's going good, so it'll put off a lot of its own heat. And that flame will make sure it stays going, but at this point, you can sit on the lowest setting, and the grill will remain at the same temperature, and we can head down here to have a shady conversation. All right. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. Hello there. What's up, Anubis? How are we doing today? I'm good. Well, you know, I work for them, so they go by my house every 15 minutes, give or take. Oh, hell yeah. Can you hear them every time? Or is it just like how does that work? Oh. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. You can hear the trolley going by? Oh, that's cool. See, that might be kind of cool. Because, trolleys, from what I understand, are, trolleys are a lot less noisy than, like, a conventional freight train. But what I was saying about the freight trains a minute ago is that, like, they seem cool the first time you listen to them on one of these streams, or, like, the first time, like, if somebody's hanging out here and they listen to them, they usually sound, like, pretty cool the first couple of times, but you get real sick of it. You'll be in the middle of a conversation and a train will go by at 70 miles an hour, and so, like, sometimes if a train's moving slowly enough, you'll hear the train, or if it's a quiet enough day, you'll hear the train, the friction of the wheels and just the sound of it moving, before you ever hear the actual horn. Which it's funny. Trains are a strange thing, right? Because the sound of a train passing by you is loud, but you can talk over it. Sound of a train horn, on the other hand, is fucking insane. I mean, it's just like so fucking loud it'd blow your eardrums out if you were too close to it. But the sound of a train just going by, even if it's a fully loaded freight train going at 70 miles an hour, is not something that you couldn't stand to listen to for a few minutes. It's not something that would kill your eardrums just being around it, I guess. Maybe if you were too close to it, but they are loud though. They are very loud and can be quite obtrusive. But the great thing about them is that they don't carry very far. It's not like a train horn, which a train horn will carry through the fucking valleys and through the woods and through, like fucking train horn will carry for like half a mile sometimes, just depends on the train. But the sound of a train going by is comparatively bad at traveling long distances. Heard about Trump in Greenland? I've heard that Trump wants to take over Greenland. I haven't heard anything. I haven't really heard anything much about it since like the week after the fucking, what's it called? The inauguration. I haven't really heard much about it since then. I really don't know if there's been more updates since then. Probably. Today, as I was taking the train, I saw the security cursing out a homeless man, and he threw him out. Bad way to start the morning. Yeah, that's a horrible way to start the morning. That would fuck my day right up, dude. That would fuck my day right up. And I also don't know if I would be able to hold my tongue in a situation like that, honestly. I would like to think that I could, and I recognize that human beings are not quite as bold as we fancy ourselves, so maybe I wouldn't. But it's just hard to imagine being able to remain calm and rational. Because honestly, sometimes all it takes for somebody to quit fucking with a homeless person is for some yuppie to fuck with the person who's fucking with the homeless person. Like, I have been saved so many times in my life when I was homeless by someone with more money than I had standing up for me and getting the cop or the fucking Karen or whatever it was to rail right by my garden. Did you like it, or was it kind of like an annoying experience? Because for me, I kind of find it annoying most of the time, but some people seem to really fucking love that shit. Some people seem like they're like I'm fascinated by trains, don't get me wrong. I think that they're the most efficient way to get good. In fact, I don't have to think that. I know that. Trains are the most efficient way to get goods from point A to point B. The other thing about trains, though, is that they're fucking loud. They're fucking loud. They have space requirements that aren't that much akin to anything else besides roads, maybe. At-grade crossings with them are complicated because you can't just do a stop sign or something like that. You've got to have these like dynamic crossing guards, and those crossing guards suck because the arm on them is not nearly long enough to actually stop vehicles from going around, which to me is retarded. To me, I don't know why they fucking don't just make it a little bit longer so that people can't fucking drive around them. Like, is the idea that they need to be that way so that if they do accidentally come down on somebody that they've got like drive? So, but that doesn't make any sense, because if you're fucking, I don't know, dude. Maybe that's exactly why. I think it's because, here's what I think is the thinking. Somebody goes to cross over a railroad crossing with lift gates, right? And if you notice, the lift gate always blocks off the flow of traffic incoming towards it, right? And doesn't really block off the other lane at all. So maybe the idea is if you drive through a crossing and it starts to descend or something like that. But no, that don't make a lick of goddamn sense either. Nah, hell nah, dude. I don't know. There's got to be some fucking reason why those arms are not long enough to fully cover up the road. But I want design, because motherfuckers just be driving around them. Motherfuckers will just drive around them, even when, like, what? Here's a fucking classic example of a time when somebody will drive around the gates. A train's coming. It's going fast enough to trigger the things already and everything, but it's not going fast enough to get there within the amount of time that those are designed to lower before the train actually comes, right? And so what will end up happening is that they basically lower a little early, and somebody starts driving around them, and then just as they're getting out of the crossing, you see the train rounding the fucking corner, and it's like, you fucking idiot. Finland eliminates homelessness. USA, how dare you be homeless? I know. America is one of the worst fucking countries at dealing with this specific problem. We do a lot of things right, don't get me wrong. America does some things right. But we do a lot of really fucking critical shit way ass backwards. And this is one of them. Homeless people in America are the lowest of the low. The lowest of the pond scum. They are the butt of every joke. They are like the one kind of person without rights, basically. If you're a yuppie, you can spend the night overnight in most stores' parking lots and probably get away with it. Especially if you ask first. But if you're a homeless person, you kind of don't want to ask, except in very specific situations, because that increases the chances that someone's going to take notice in a serious way and decide to fucking call the law. There is a completely different standard applied to homeless people based purely on the fact that they're homeless. And it's based on a bunch of fucking false premises about homeless people that don't reflect the reality, right? Let me see here. Really, I was like, what the fuck did he do? And the security was all like, stay out of it. Dude, good on you for being able to stay out of it, because I would have been pissed. It was annoying, very loud, and would shake down my entire apartment. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is here too, honestly. When a train comes by, it just fucking rattles the whole goddamn... It rattles your whole shit. Okay. Personally, I think you can tell how well off someone is based on how they talk about the homeless. It's not a perfect indicator, but yeah, it does tend to be a class indicator. Huh? What? Steaming? 1 second. Whoa! Okay. Crisis averted. Mostly. Apparently my stuff was burning a little bit. Not really burning, but it's definitely developing its crust at a faster rate than I expected it to. So I'll probably have to fine-tune this process a little bit. I just hope I didn't overdo it on any of it. Because if I did right, we should have some really good pulled pork tonight. But if I did wrong, it's going to be fucking inedible. So here's hoping. Like, I've only ever met well-off people who said things like, homeless people are all drug-addicted bums who are too lazy to be human. Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's a pretty good class indicator. It's not entirely accurate because there's a weird interplay that happens where sometimes the children of wealthy families will, I don't mean billionaire wealthy, but I mean like everyday wealthy. Sometimes the children of wealthy families will like they'll basically decide to be homeless. And now this reflects so few homeless people. I want to stress that, right? The vast fucking majority of homeless people are not this. This is a very specific subgroup of the dirty kid community, which are homeless people that rationalize their homelessness, basically, I would say. They rationalize their homelessness. Ultimately, it's socioeconomic reasons why they're homeless. I'm one of them. But we all have rationalizations for it, right? And that's what sets us apart, I guess, from the like home bum on the street corner that like has no rhyme or reason as to like their homelessness story. Or like that's not the right way to put it. Like they've got rhyme and reason to it, but they don't have like a way that they've made their homelessness feel like an act of rebellion, which is what unites dirty kids, in my opinion. And trust fundies or trustees, they are like a very small group of that community, but I've encountered enough of them to know that it's a thing. And I've encountered enough kids from multifamilies that didn't have trust funds, and so they're like actually living the actual homelessness experience, even if they do have the option to return home, in theory. They're actually like out there living it, so I guess it's a little bit different. Man, why are the views, like, the views have been fucking shitty lately, dude, compared to what they were like a week or two ago. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Was everybody just like thoroughly disappointed by that stream where there was no audio? Let me see here. I'm going to read up a little bit. It was annoying. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Personally, I think you can tell how well off someone... Oh, I already read that. Homeless people are treated as filth, and it sucks. A human is a human no matter what, with exceptions. No matter what, but with exceptions. Just say a human is a human, or just say, like, homeless people are human. Because either you believe there are exceptions or not. Personally, I believe that there are no exceptions. If you're a human, you're a human. I think the distinction between human and non-human is a biological one, not a moral one. Otherwise, you have to tell me what species Jeffrey Dahmer is, and I will be compelled by my knowledge of biology to point out to you that none of the distinctions you just laid between Jeffrey Dahmer and a normal person are distinctions that a biologist would recognize as distinguishing one species from another. Different pods of orcas in different places behave differently. Different individual orcas behave differently. If that can be seen in a fucking whale, what makes you think that that would be absent in human beings? So, like, it's just something you have to contend with. If you relegate yourself to the position, Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't human, it might sound appealing, but it's not. It's a poison pill. It's a way of thinking that enables you to excuse his bad actions, which is probably the opposite of what you're trying to do. But essentially, it doesn't exactly excuse his actions, but it writes them off as something non-human, something that a human being should be incapable of. And I agree we should be, but we aren't. We are very capable. Nazi Germany did not happen because some space aliens came down and did it. It didn't happen because the Triffids started walking around and hunting down Jews. That's not why the Holocaust happened. The Holocaust happened because human beings chose to oppress their fellow human beings. But the healthcare system of the Nordic countries is an example of the human being being capable of doing much greater things than we have up to this point. We can be a species that does good, not just in this world, but to each other. We can. We're capable of it. Will we ever get to that point? Guys, I really don't know. I wish I could tell you that we were like hurtling towards it as we speak, but sadly, I think we all know we're not. That's not the direction we're headed on, but we can be better than we've been up till now. The real question is, will we? Do we want to be? We should have a week where all rich people have to live life like homeless people. Things would change pretty fast after that, I think. Yeah, but that's the fucking thing, is that when you get to the point where you allow rich people to own and control your society completely, you get to the point where you can't make a rich fuck do anything that they don't want to do. And like when rich people do choose to go through experiences like that, it does change them. But you can't make them. You have to luck out with some motherfucker that's already kind of like lefty leaning and shit. And even then, a lot of them remain billionaires. They just start donating to different causes and funding different projects and shit. So that's the fucking thing, guys. We are not going to get rich people. There's nothing we can do in terms of pleading and bargaining and that kind of thing. There's nothing we can do to make rich people do what we want just by asking. There is only one way to get rich people to acquiesce to the will of the people, and that is to express it openly and freely in a mass way in the form of a protest. You have to meet them where they are. And where are they? They are at Wall Street, and they are in Washington, D.C. Wall Street and K Street, baby. We need to occupy those places peacefully as a peaceful fucking loosely affiliated group of people with like 5 fucking policies that we demand that need to be met right now. And I don't know, like the 5 policies I'm always preaching, I think that they are fucking I think that they're widely translatable, honestly. I think that they could apply to a lot of people's mindsets. I think a lot of people want the basic kind of thing that I've been talking about for so many fucking months at this point. I should probably have said that they lose their humanity over not being humans. My bad for that. No, you're fine. Yeah, I agree that they do lose a bit of their humanity. But we have to bear in mind that it's human beings that do these awful things. And if you want to resolve them, you're going to have to resolve them using human fucking problem-solving mechanisms. I don't know why people think you can solve problems like serial killing or childhood sexual abuse, things like that. I don't know why people feel like we can solve these the way you would solve like a rat problem. We don't, like, the same people who agree that that's a bad way to approach the homelessness situation and the drug problem will say that that's the way we need to handle like certain crimes and certain criminality patterns, and to me it's just like, why, what? I mean, I get the emotional argument that's always made is like, well, these people have done heinous things, they deserve to fucking fry, they deserve to go out so horribly, and they don't they don't deserve to get therapy and that kind of thing. But my question is always like, okay, but do you actually think that this is going to reduce the amount of that kind of crime that happens? And when they usually say yes, I point out that, well, several states have tried laws just like this, and it hasn't seemed to result in that. And then at some point you get them to admit that it probably wouldn't change the statistic, but that's just human nature. But then you hit them with the fact that, I mean, no, I mean, as far as we know, Jack the Ripper was like the first serial killer. It's a specific problem of industrial civilization. It's not something that happens in tribal communities. It's just not. For whatever reason. Gemma and Jessica are about to argue again. Gemma's such a troll. I love her. Ooh, y'all hear the frog? Did y'all hear that frog? Oh, there it goes again. But yeah, honestly, if we want to fix some of these major fucking problems that are happening right now, like voting for Trump ain't gonna do it. Just look at what he's doing right now. Voting for Joe Biden ain't gonna do it. Look at what he did over the last 4 years. You are not going to be able to approach the Democratic Party or the Republican Party for an answer to these problems. They do not have one. They don't know what to offer you. They're hardly even trying. We're going to have to reach out and take this power back if we want it. And I'm telling you guys, that is one of the only routes that we have towards meaningfully addressing some of the powerful fucking problems that we have in this country. Some of this shit has needed to happen for so long that it's not even fucking funny. You realize that Hillary Clinton first gained notoriety for being a proponent of universal health care? You realize that's what originally got Hillary Clinton's fucking name on the mouths of the people? Back in the early 90s, she was out there campaigning in her own her own first lady kind of capacity for universal health care policies. And now she's for private health care, with a little bit of expanded Medicare, cannot rely on that party, which has been flip-flopping universal healthcare for 30 fucking years now. Cannot rely on them to give you a good fucking position on that. And I don't think you can rely on them to ever present you with a politician who's actually going to run on that. Because the fucking insurance companies have too much money to lose in a fucking scenario where their model of business becomes completely unnecessary. Completely superfluous. No, my friends, there is one way that we approach that. Well, two ways, but one of them I think is a more sure shot. We're going to have to figure out a way to take to the streets in a mass way and demand that our needs be met, because they aren't being right now. In fact, not only are they not being met, they're being so categorically ignored, and like it's almost like they're laughing in our face with some of these policies, with the way shit is going. Like, you think shit's bad now? Just wait. It's a sick fucking way to run a... Never against universal healthcare. Just the idea gets called socialistic, yet it isn't. Most Western countries have it. I mean, no, it's not really socialistic, necessarily. I mean, maybe it is a little bit, but socialism isn't a bad word. You know, it's not like some dirty word that you have to be afraid of any of your policies being like it. Just because you have one socialist policy doesn't mean all of your policy is socialist. And genocide is not some kind of fucking socialist policy. It's just not. There's nothing in the fucking Karl Marx fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Bibliography. There's nothing in his bibliography that would lead you to genocide people. That is something that comes from wanting to genocide people and appending that onto it. By itself, socialism, depending on like the mode that we're talking about, I think could be a long-term sustainable solution for a new economic model, like until we get to the point where people are just like more or less self-sustaining and technology is like self-replicating, and like I've got a crazy eco-futurist vision for the world, but like discussion for a different time. I think a good interim solution would be some kind of pseudo-socialistic system. What'd be wrong with that? And by pseudo-socialistic, I mean a socialism that would work within the current American framework. There are some things that have to be nationalized, but we can nationalize them in a way that allows them to continue to be approachable by Americans, right? Like average, everyday people. So, for example, if we were to nationalize housing, there might still be a market on certain kinds of housing for a while. Like super upscale houses and shit. I don't think, like, I guess if we demanded it, we could, but I don't think you necessarily have to put every single person on a wait list for a mansion, right? I don't think you have to make that be like one of the types of housing that's just available for anyone to apply to. But you're going to have some housing that anybody can apply to, and that you don't, like, that's fucking paid for out of taxes that are generated by the continued consumption and production of the people that live in that country and the corporations that exist in it. I don't think you need to decommodify luxury goods immediately. I don't think you need to decommodify automobiles immediately. There's a lot of shit we can go without decommodification on for a little bit, But when it comes to housing, that needs to not be something that's bought and sold. That needs to be something that people inherit year to year, that can't be taken away from you because you didn't pay the fucking taxes on it or some shit. In my opinion, there really shouldn't be, and I know this might sound contrary to what I'm talking about, but I don't think there should be a property tax. I think that the way taxes should work, I think it should be based on transactions as they happen in the market. Like this idea of just charging people money for the fucking privilege of living. I think that if a person wants to live on their own fucking property and be off the grid and not have a fucking traditional job and just eat what they can grow, I think that that should be their fucking goddamn right. And I think that if they choose to have a family, they should be able to pass that on to their kids without any bullshit. Coming in on genocide. Alrighty. I know, right? Hell of a topic to land on, Merrick. But what the fuck is up, bro? I gotta take y'all up again to fuck with the meat. So let's go. You will accompany me while I... Never mind, I'm not gonna say it. It would have been funny, though. Funny how MAGA currently have a death camp in El Salvador, but socialism is the bad thing. It's not a death camp. Never mind the giant pile of bodies found on the satellite images. Oh. Figure it's time for a basting. It's not burnt. See? It jiggles. Not burnt. It's got a bark, but it's about done, so it should.
I know.
I don't think that looks burnt. I mean, I think all smoked things kind of look a little burnt until you, like, start taking them apart.
It looks burnt.
I don't think it's burnt. But we'll see the tail of the tape in a few minutes. Man, I really wish this fucking thing would stop doing that. Every time I fucking squeeze on this thing, it's like every third time the head pops off of it. I think it's probably just old and been used a lot, and so the plastic is like starting to expand on it in a weird way.
Oh, Jesse's going to by the way.
Oh, okay.
Probably not going to be here long, but he's got coaching. Oh, he's going to get coaching.
Damn it.
What?
This fucking baster, it's just kind of a piece of shit.
I don't feel like that's going to be enough for 5 people.
Oh, ye of little faith. And if it's not, well, I'm just following Mom's guidance, okay? But yeah, see, I don't think it's burnt, because if it was burnt, you wouldn't still be able to see redness, like, right there. That is just a surface level char that by all rights should be there. What? Why keep sighing?
I don't know.
How did that one get smashed down?
I don't know.
Well. Okay. Back down to the thing.
Alright. Please be quiet around that rabbit. She might be giving birth soon.
Okay.
Is she still picking at her fur?
I mean, I really haven't been quiet, not gonna lie.
Alright.
But, I mean, I think she's still picking at her fur. I don't think I've been bothering her, though.
Okay, bud.
Anyway. If you are someone who lives off the grid and doesn't pay taxes and so on and so forth, do you think they should still get benefits from nearby society? Yeah, I think it's fine. Like, by benefits from nearby society, you mean the ability to go in and get health care, the ability to, the ability to, participate in the things that are provided by taxes. Yes, I think that's fine. You know why? Because most people are not going to choose to live that way until such time as we start to approach a point where technology has enabled people to more or less be self-sufficient easily in small places. That kind of evolutionary change will lead to a situation where we'll basically have to be insistent that the corporations, that either all corporations just get nationalized and the entire production and what's the word I'm looking for? Administrative apparatus of the country that we live in just becomes one, and at that point we basically transition to a resource-based economy. I think you either have to have that, or you have to basically insist that the corporations who still exist to make things for people to get, because by that point you'll have to have a UBI if consumerism is to continue at all, or like I said, you have to transition to a resource-based economy. I don't know. I honestly think giving people the opportunity to do that is the first step to getting us to what I think could be like an anarchist utopia, where people are actually allowed to self-determine to the maximal degree possible, and their government is made up of a mutually agreeable group of I don't know. I almost think about it in terms of the rainbow model, like the focalizer model, but that's kind of complicated to explain in 2 minutes. Maybe I have a bias from bad experiences, but I always found it weird how Amish people get to live pretty much following their own rules, yet benefit from nearby social amenities. Sure, but how many Amish people are there, So I think it's either people aren't really going to do it and our society just progresses in a different direction, or it enables people to start doing it in high enough numbers that corporate America is forced to change some of its ideas about other things and give in to this idea of a universal basic income that would enable people who do want to continue engaging with society but want to do so on their own terms, would give them the ability to do so, right? The ability to do so. Like I said, I do have a bit of a narrow-minded point of view on the subject, but most of my experiences with Amish people have been very positive. Have not been very positive, but that's just my anecdotal experience. Hey, fair enough. I can't entirely account for that, but I get what you mean. And, yeah. You know what? Fair enough. Benefiting the needs of the many should circumvent the fact that a small group will benefit without putting in their fair share. That's kind of what, that's kind of my argument. Yeah, it's whatever. We can support a small group of relative freeloaders. It's fine. it's fine. Like, we can support a small group of freeloaders that are not using up very many resources. The main reason the fucking world sucks so much right now is because the actual freeloaders in our society fucking freeload off of everybody on the fucking planet. They're billionaires. They're people who are literally freeloading off of their country, off of other people's countries, off of people's labor and shit. They're the biggest freeloaders you've ever fucking seen. So, in my opinion, if we're going to talk about turning that into a relatively small group of people who want to live off grid and shit, like, that's fine. Because I got news for you, too. A lot of those people that are going to want to live that way right off the bat, as soon as that option's offered to them, a lot of them, part of the reason they want to do that is so that they don't have to go out into town. They don't have to leave their the place where they live. There are some people who are genuinely never happier than when they're out in their yard and when they're walking around their property. And there's some people who, if you offered them the possibility to live a life where that was just like normal for them and every day, and that was like the way things went, they would fucking adore it. They would love it. It would be their favorite fucking thing ever. And they would hardly ever leave. So yeah, are we going to have to occasionally pay for medical care for these people? Sure. But medical care is going to be way less expensive because it's going to be nationalized, and the fucking federal government is not going to allow itself to get like fucked over by its own systems. I mean, maybe our current federal government would, but the type of federal government I envision aligning to create this kind of thing or to facilitate it, I don't think would. I think we'd benefit from modern tribalism, to be completely honest. What do you mean? Yo, Phoebe, I love the change of scenery, beautiful weather out. Glad you're taking advantage of it. Oh yeah, dude. I love to come outside and stream when it's nice like this. It's not always nice like this, but when it is, it's always a good time to stream for sure. Always a good time. Anyway, I had to double take and self-reflect for a moment. For a second there, I sounded like the people who were overly concerned with welfare queens. I mean, I didn't want to put it that way, Merrick, but a little bit, yeah. That's the same argument I make against them, by the way. Same exact argument. Like small communities here and there living in peace. Yeah, I think you would see an uptick in communes, like under an American government that allowed people to live for free on their own property without property tax and pass it on to their children and their descendants and shit. I think you would see an uptick in communes. I think you would see an uptick in intentional communities formed around people who actually want to engage one another on a fair and even basis, right? But it's not going to be everybody. And a lot of those people, they're going to be hybrid communities where people want that, but they don't want to have to like support themselves through farming and gardening and shit. They want some elements of the close, tight-knit community thing and the, ability to live where they're living. But they're not going to, they're not going to be like quitting their jobs or anything, right? There's going to be plenty of people that are like that too. And it'll benefit everybody because nobody will be paying rent for it and nobody will be paying a fucking mortgage anymore. And if you want to move to a different place, if it's an empty fucking house, you put your name on the wait list. And if there is nobody fucking name on the wait list, then you basically get set up with an appointment to come look around and to basically there would be like a screening process, but it would be designed to make sure that you're applying for a house that's big enough for your family. It would be like the opposite of what it is right now, where it's trying to deny you. It would be like, no, we want to just make sure that you're in the right kind of place. So there would be some kind of basic screening process, but it would have like a different focus. And then you put people in these fucking houses. And with our well-developed tax base in this country, we pay for not some of these places, for all of these places, for every house in America to be well kept up. I don't think property taxes is that big of a hit, especially if you're homesteading and get a tax break possibly. I'm not saying it's a big hit. I'm against it in principle, not because it's got like some horrible effect. It's not like the reason against it in principle is because property tax is ultimately the thing that keeps people, it's something that forces people to engage with capitalism. It's like the final stop. You can take yourself out of every other process. You are not taking yourself out of property taxes. Not unless you're Amish. So it's like, even if you get a career where you can stay home, or even if you get your land to the point where you can just live off of it exclusively, you still don't have the ability to unplug entirely, because you've got to somehow make enough money to pay your property taxes every year. And depending on how big your place is, that can be anywhere between $50 to a couple grand. Like if you've got a shit ton of land, it can be, a decent bit. But if you don't, it's usually not much. I mean, what's wrong with capitalism? Really, like any tool, it can be used for good or abused for evil. It really depends on the person using it, not the system. No, it does. Capitalism, it does. And I'll explain why. The profit motive. Under capitalism, the only reason by which an action can be justified under capitalism is what we call the profit motive. Is it profitable? Does it make us more money to do it this way? If the answer is no, then it cannot be done under capitalism. And the only way it can be done under capitalism is by people who are willing to openly fly in the face of that and to take a hit their own ability to self-sustain as a result. In other words, choosing to go against capitalism actively draws HP. It's not exactly healthy for a motherfucker. And that's what capitalism is set up to do. It's a system by which you are required to engage. And if you're not required to engage, people very quickly decide not to, which is why there has to be enforcement that makes people engage. That's why this country was created, with mechanisms that force poor people to engage in the system. If it was such a wonderful system, what's the deal with property taxes? People say, oh, it pays for education. Yeah, sure, it does, but so could a lot of things. Property tax ain't that much. We were just talking about how cheap it is. So, if we're going to accept that premise, why can't we just fund it else? Let's just take it out of a different tax bracket. Why do we have to have property taxes? People come up with all kinds of justifications for it, but the end fucking result, the actual reason why property tax exists, is to force human beings to have to engage with capitalism on some level. Good, bad, right, or wrong, that's why it exists. It's got less to do with funding education, because that could be done with a lot of different taxes, and way more to do with keeping your ass on the wheel. Not all people in the system do that, though. Yeah, but the problem is the people who do that, or the people who abuse capitalism, the people who use it as a driver to just endlessly drive up their own personal wealth to absurd proportions, and they never get sick of acquiring. Those people are currently ruining our society every day. Elon Musk has been on a fucking tear, basically going through some of the most important fucking institutions in the federal government, fucking gutting them like a hog. And that's just one example, probably the most brazen example I can think of a rich person using their fucking wealthiness, using their fucking riches to put themselves in a position where they get to make the decisions. But it's been happening for fucking decades. Lobbying has been a thing for years. And lobbying is a process by which rich people legally are allowed to exercise their will on you and me. So the system of capitalism should be deemed evil because if people abuse it. The system of capitalism, I didn't say anything about it being an evil system. I said that it's a bad system for managing human beings. Well, I might have said capitalism is evil too, but the more important thing is that it's a really shitty way to manage human affairs if you care at all about human lives. If you care at all about human lives, you have to oppose capitalism because human lives are not the first priority in capitalism. They are not. The first priority under capitalism is right there in the fucking name, capital. The first priority in capitalism is fucking over everybody else. Well, capitalism opens up a lot of doors, especially for small business owners. I'm with you on the multi-billionaires hoarding wealth. That's the thing, though, is like you can have wonderful small businesses and wonderful, you can have the sort of freedom that you're looking for without capitalism. You don't need that framework. What you need is space to exist. That's what people need. They need space to exist, and they need space to do what they love. And they need the ability to go where the things that they love to do are. There are some people who genuinely find working at a factory to be kind of cathartic in some way. There are people who find working in customer service positions to be cathartic in a way. And there are people who want to be self-employed, who want to have their own fucking thing. They care a lot about the food that they make and they want to make something good and original. All kinds of fucking kinds, bro. And there is room for that under systems besides capitalism. The quality of the product will decrease. Why? I would say the quality of the product would go up because you're no longer trying to get the maximum out the price you're charging. See, one of the things about capitalism is it creates a race to the bottom. When you have capitalism, all you care about is the profit motive. That means what you want to do is get the consumer to pay as high a price as possible for as low quality a product as you can get, because you want to pay as little for your raw materials as possible. You want to pay as little for your labor as possible. You want to pay as little as you can for everything, because every bit that you pay more cuts into your profit. So unless your profit is all built around you like having a sustainable and somehow public supply chain or something like that, unless that's what your business model is built on, you can't really be using top shelf shit. You have to go cheap. You have to fucking race to the bottom in an effort to compete, like you said. That competition is unhealthy, my friend. That competition doesn't help us. That competition is why some smartphones are fucking so shitty and other smartphones just seem to work. That competition is why there are 17 fucking different types of grills when you go into Walmart, and they all do the same 3 fucking things. It's not some wonderful thing that we need to prioritize. We need to let people pursue what they love. We need to let people pursue what they care about. And we need that competition to exist on a merit basis, not on the basis of profit motive. Are you telling me that somebody who's really passionate about pizza right now under capitalism is not still going to be passionate about pizza under a socialistic system? As someone passionate about pizza, I can tell you, for me, it doesn't matter what fucking bureaucracy is at the top of whatever state I happen to be living in at that moment. Pizza's pizza. And I want to have the best pizza. I want to make pizza that people remember, with a perfectly balanced rising crust. And that matters to me, right? And the same is true for anyone that has any kind of small business that would become some kind of like collective or single person effort or something. Hi, little man. I'm not going to show up you guys because that would be weird. Well, this has stopped smoking, and this is looking about done. I'm going to temp it, but it has probably already lost quite a bit of its heat. Show you guys. Well, yeah, that's done. So I will bid you guys adieu.